Alright guys, we're boat 201. They're just doing blast off now. So we got Gary Haraguchi in the boat with me today. We've been together before, so it's gonna be a fun day. It's supposed to be a nice day. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be a long day for us. We're not due until 4:15, so we're gonna be out there grinding away. So let's see what happens, everybody. Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to dive into my top 3 AOY finish in the Central Division, wrapping it up on Lake Chickamauga just like a week ago. So it was an incredible tournament. I ended up in 14th overall. I started out in 5th after day 1 and went to 7th and then 14th, unfortunately, on the final day. But I kind of want to talk about what my pattern was, how I caught fish, and kind of what was going through my mind and how practice and everything went. So first, let's kind of talk about the baits that I threw. You know, I'm a northern guy. I wasn't going to pick up a lot of giant swim baits. I wasn't going to do a lot of offshore ledge fishing. You know, things that I knew the local guys, which the local pressure was going to be enormous down there because it's on one of the most popular lakes in the world right now. You know, Chickamauga, it's historically known for giant fish, catches 9-10 pounders out of there regularly. And those locals are hitting those ledges really, really hard. And I knew if I stood a chance, I had to do my comfort zone, and that was going to be shallow, fishing the shad spawn in the mornings, and then just kind of concentrating on those fish that were transitioning from shallow to deep. So in that, you know, that 3 to 10 foot range, I knew I could comfortably do that. I knew I'd have fish coming to me, or at least I thought. And I thought it was something that I could replicate, you know. So the baits that right off the bat I was throwing was Megabass Vision 110 plus 1. As you guys have seen this bait a million times, throwing it on that 6H Mojo Bass, St. Croix Mojo Bass, just casting rod, medium heavy, fast action. It's a phenomenal rod. It's my favorite jerkbait rod, bar down, hands none. Pairing that with you know, a Shimano Corrado K, love that reel, in an 8:2 to 1 gear ratio, just because it allows me to pick up line fast on 12-pound line. But that was my morning deal. I was throwing that along some riprap stretches, you know, just areas that the shad were spawning on. And I wasn't catching literally like any of my weight doing this, but what it did was I caught some spotted bass that were keepers, I caught some small largemouth that were keepers, and it really just kind of helped settle me in for the day. It would get me, you know, either a limit or 4 really quick in the morning in the first 45 minutes, which then you guys tournament fish, you know, just getting a few fish in the box first thing in the morning can really help settle you down, especially knowing that I was 9th in the points coming into this event, so I knew it was going to be a big deal. You know, I've been close the last couple of years to making the pro tour, and I really wanted to break through and not struggle on the final event this year, so luckily it worked out for me. But so that was what I started off in the mornings, and then I had a 2 bait punch combo that I was throwing. And what I was looking for was hard spots. And what I mean by hard spots could be shell beds, it could just be rocky spots. It was just something different on these sandy and, you know, mud points and, you know, flats that I would just idle for hours on end and find individual hard spots that would be like the size of the front deck of my boat. You know, little spots that, you know, 1, 2, 3 fish would load up on throughout the day, and they would keep coming to that. And that's what I really, really targeted. So I spent a lot of time idling down the lower end of the lake, just on these big flats and, you know, on transition points, and just finding those little isolated hard spots that I thought those fish would be coming to. And in the ones that were, you know, 5 foot and less, I was throwing just that medium-sized TRD, not the giant one, but the big TRD in a Canada Craw or a Drew's Craw color, pairing that with a Z-Man finesse football head. And I was throwing that on my G Loomis E6X 7.5, and it's a fast, medium-heavy action. It's like their 2 rod. I don't even know if they still make this rod, but it is my favorite spinning rod, hands down, bar none. Pairing that with a Shimano Stratic, smoothest reel in the market in my opinion. You know, I haven't tested all of them, but the ones that I have tested, that Stratic is ridiculous. And I was pairing that with 12-pound line to a 10-pound braided leader, or braided main line. And the biggest deal that I had with this was that smooth drag. You know, I was catching 4.5, 5-pound largemouth on that, and you know, you got to have that smooth drag to let those fish pull, because they would do some crazy stuff at the boat. But I was literally just picking out individual hard spots and just using my Mega 360, my Humminbird Mega 360, and using my talons to lock down. And I would just pan around after, you know, idling. I knew where they were. I would get up, see them on my 360, talon down, and make repetitive casts in that area, you know, within 10 foot around either side of it. And when you got it on the juice, 9 times out of 10, if they were there, it was pretty quick. You knew it. You know, I pitched this up there and it got bit. And nobody else in the area that I was fishing was doing this. It was pretty incredible that I was fishing in a very popular area. And for me to be the only person doing this was pretty special. You know, there was a lot of guys fishing isolated cypress trees, fishing up shallow, beating the bank with a swim jig, chatterbaits, you know, just flipping the bank. But that wasn't my deal. I knew in order to do well in a 260 boat tournament, you have to have something that's a little bit different, that's a little bit away from everybody else, or just something that not a lot of other people are doing. And that was what I was doing. That's what I was trying to do with this finesse bait. So that was my go-to. I caught most of my weight on this bait. If not, probably like the first day I probably caught maybe 1 or 2 on it, probably 2. And then the second day, majority of my weight came on this. And the third day, maybe half my limit came on this. The first day, I ended up relying on this little dude right here. I was throwing a Straight King Rage Menace. You can see I got the hook bent over on this one, on a Straight King football head in a 1/4 and a 3-ounce size. And all I was doing was just dragging that across these hard spots. And it was just something finessey again that I thought these fish wouldn't really see. I was pairing that on 16-pound line on my bread and butter rod that you guys have seen time and time again, that 7-1 medium heavy fast action, like St. Croix Mojo Bass, on that Shimano SLX 8:2-to-1 gear ratio reel, pretty much a jig setup for the most part. And I was just staying off of it again with my 360, making sure I could see it, launching casts up there and just dragging it along that rock, and you'd feel those fish just pop it. You know, they'd come down and just suck it right up off those hard spots. And the first day, this is what a majority of my weight came on. Caught a 7-pounder on it, which was pretty crazy. I was just pulling it across one of those hard spots, and you could feel them just pick it up, and I got a crappy hook set on it as usual. And you want to talk about getting jacked up in a tournament, putting one of those in the boat will surely get you there in a hurry. And that was a difference maker. You know, I had 18.5 pounds the first day. Second day I only had maybe almost 14. And the third day I just had about 11 pounds because it was, you know, it was really overcast that third day. I probably should have made a switch and thrown a big swim bait or something just more moving and covered some more water, but I knew I was really close to locking in that that top 5 finish in AOY to make that pro circuit, and so I just stuck to my guns. So this was the majority of my weight the first day. The second day was that Ned rig, and the third day was this jerkbait. And the Ned rig a little bit too. They just really weren't reloading as much as I thought they were going to. You know, the first day I had that 7-pounder. The second day I just didn't have a really big fish. I had a 4.5, but again, no real standout fish. I had a 4.5 and a 3.5, and that was about it. And then just some keepers. And the third day I really just didn't get any big bites. I had 1 3-pounder, and that was about it. But again, like I said, I didn't want to blow the opportunity that I had in front of me. I knew I was really, really close, and I just wanted to, you know, save the points that I possibly could to try to get it. And I ended up with that top 3, which does indeed qualify me for the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit next year. So I am super jacked up. It still really hasn't even fully hit me yet. A couple people that I want to thank are just my mom and my dad, first and foremost. They were with me through thick and thin. My boy Colton Higgins, he was with me through thick and thin. And my boy Chris Rosella, those guys were always rooting for me on that one. And you know, I had so many people reaching out to me the whole journey so far. So I'm really excited, and I'm really just jacked up to get out there and start going against these guys that I've been competing against. But without a co-angler in a professional setting with cameras on me and everything like that, that's where I feel like I'm going to thrive. But I think it was really important on that Chickamauga event to downsize and find those spot on the spots, as they always say, and really just dial in what we were doing. So I was running, like I said, I was running that shad spot in the morning, and then I would get out on these flats, find these hard spots, and really milk them for what they were worth. And the first day I had a couple bedding fish that I ended up going to. One was about a 7-pounder I lost, which really hurt. I could have blown the doors off of it the first day. But yeah, I just had a couple different, I had a milk run that I was doing every day. I was just trying to rotate through it. Day 1 it was like 85 degrees and super sunny, perfect conditions. Second day, we had a big storm blowing in the afternoon, and luckily I got off the water before that because I was an early boat. But those later guys struggled, which is why the weights dropped, as you saw, or else guys would have been bed fishing or fishing for, you know, fry garters or anything like that. But on that third day, it was just overcast for the most of the day, which is why that shad spawn lasted longer into the morning. And I really think that's why they didn't reload on those hard spots as much as I wanted them to. But you know, that's fishing. It's part of the game. You got to adapt and move along with it. But overall, I was just super, super jacked up for it. I can't believe it actually happened. I really can't. one of these days it'll hit me and I'll probably break down in tears. But thank you guys so much for watching and following along. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and you know, just keep following along with the channel as we begin to grow and hopefully turn this into a long, prosperous career. So God bless y'all, and take care. These videos are brought to you in part by Fish USA, America's tackle shop. Feel free to stop by in Fairview, PA, or visit us online at fishusa.com. God bless y'all, and thank you so much for watching.